of educating. We're joined in the studio now by legal practitioner, chartered mediator and conciliator, Barrister Chiagozie Nwabuko, as we bring ourselves and, of course, you up to speed with the impact of the just concluded NBA 2025 conference hosted in Enugu State. Barrister Chiagozie, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Good morning to you, Natalie. Good morning, Oji.
Good morning. Welcome.
And this blue is really elevating. We must give you all your flowers. It's truly elevating. I mean, it just makes us feel peaceful. You know, no matter how much Oji rattles us up. Yeah, a little bit of warmth and a lot of peace, you know. So I could take that to mean that you're happy with the just concluded conference. You feel at peace with it?
I am very excited about it. You know, when they had that issue in River State, I was one of those people who voiced it out that the conference must come to Enugu. I didn't know that His Excellency had better plans, because when the governor was illegally removed, unconstitutionally removed, the River State governor, I was one of the persons that came and said, this should come to Enugu. So I was excited when he came to Enugu, and we delivered. Enugu delivered. So I'm happy about that.
How did Enugu deliver?
Well, I think that His Excellency was already prepared. The state was prepped for that conference. It was as if it was originally zoned to come to Enugu, because everything was in place. I eulogize His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Enugu State, Dr. Ndubisi Pitamba. He did excellently well. Every lawyer that attended, they sang praises of Enugu. The environment was peaceful. The communication was wonderful. The transportation network was awesome. Every lawyer that came testified to the fact that Enugu is a destination for businesses and conferences. Everybody's happy about that.
Thus far, right? Let's talk about the organization that just concluded in Enugu State. Thus far, all the NBA conferences you've experienced, some of your legal colleagues, right? Which is more pronounced? Is this the recent one?
Enugu State the best.
Yeah?
Yes, so far so good. Enugu is the best. I'm not saying it because I'm in Enugu Bar, but we didn't have any single challenge. None. No complaint.
Perfect.
No, it was perfect. No complaint throughout the conference.
So could you break down this perfection? Because we've heard a lot of Enugu was sweet, we enjoyed it, it was more than we bargained for, more than we hoped for. But we've not really had anyone break it down to the smallest bits to really tell us step by step, day by day, what contributed to its near perfection or its perfection as you've listed it.
One, the ambience of the ICC. It's capacious. It accommodated thousands of lawyers. We didn't have accommodation issues. The hospitality in Enugu is top notch. Then the transportation network, you know, everything was actually congregated in a place. We didn't have the challenge of having the venue in a place and then the cafeteria or other places different. So we had every place concentrated at the 3 arms zone. So it's just trackable distance from the ICC to the Friendship Center, where people can ease themselves and then have their lunch or their dinner. So we didn't stress the conferees. They didn't have to start going to long distances before they can get anything they want. Our hotels are wonderful. The newly refurbished presidential hotel is top notch. Nickel Lake Resort, Heartbreak Hotels. I'm not advertising, but all the hotels in Enugu, they did their bits. And the sense of security in Enugu is wonderful. And my joy is that it broke the myth that the South is insecure. Okay. So they came here, nobody was kidnapped, nobody was harassed. And we respected ourselves.
How did you feel when you saw the DRS vehicles stationed across the state?
I felt secured. I felt secured, man. I felt secured. And the news agencies did their bit. His Excellency did well. They were conveying lawyers wherever you want to go to. In fact, the lawyers had a time of their lives. Then going to the other aspect, the programs were awesome. The facilitators were wonderful. We had firebrands like Michael Zekome. We had wonderful people like Dr. Obieze that left us with a rhetoric. And she said, if you like, don't invite me again. So those are the things we needed to hear.
Who classifies as a firebrand?
Yes.
Who is a firebrand?
We have Osekome that did this bit, and then Dr. Obieze they left us with lots of questions concerning what we should do as lawyers and how we should sit up, stand tall, and stand out.
Okay. Before we get into the conversations and all that. So let me hit you what critics were saying online, so that you guys were partying more than having the real conversation. So what do you have to say about that before we now get into the conversations and tell them there was a conversation?
They were just jealous folks, understand? They were just jealous.
All they were saying is they not Malaye, boogieing down and whining ways as if it's flavor.
No, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Yeah,
we've been working from January, and then we took out August to unwind. And we just unwind. We had lots of series of talks, lectures, breakout sessions, and then we had a little unbarred time that we can unwind and then
we
get
have
ourselves.
to also acknowledge the fact that the lawyers, OG, were on holiday. I mean, you're on vacation.
It's our vacation, so very soon, in the next 1 week, we'll go back to our proper sittings.
So now let's get to the conversations, right? In one of the keynotes at the ABA conference, the South African lawmaker Julius Malema
yes,
urges lawyers to decolonize legal systems and dismantle outdated colonial structures. So how should this call for the Nigerian Bar, how could this call be seen, put to work, after the NBA, right? We start seeing the results, the feedbacks of this particular conversation, because he called out so many things. He also pointed out that yes, that it's time for Africans to have one currency. It's time for Africans to even have one president. So it's time for us to build that synergy. So why would I be an African? I want to go to South Africa. I'm looking for a visa.
Exactly.
Right, and all that stuff. So can you break down all this?
Most of our laws are outdated laws that we downloaded from the West, and they do not reflect our Africanness. So we have to go back to the drawing board and then sponsor bills and then craft laws that reflect who we are as Africans. We need to break those strangleholds so that, like you said, we can travel to anywhere in Africa without necessarily passing through the stringent conditions of getting visas. We have to build alliances across African countries, legal alliances. We have to be more Africans because, okay, check it. Here in Nigeria, we go to court and we are dressed like Europeans. We are suited up even in very harsh weather conditions. We are wearing wigs and gowns that we downloaded from London. These are things that show that we are subservient to the West. So we should look at the laws that are akin to us, the laws that are autochthonous to us. So we should think of making laws that reflect our Africanness. That's what Julius Malema was talking about. He's talking about African cooperation, because most of what we are doing are laws that we borrowed from the West. So we need to go back to our laws and try to craft laws that reflect who we are as Africans.
Attachinonos. I like that
word. So it sounded so. It did a twinkle in my ear.
It did a twinkle in your ear. Like it did more than a twinkle. I think it overhauled my ears completely. Right? Attachinonos.
Yeah.
Attachinonos.
Autochthonous. The law that grows up from us.
Yeah.
Aboriginal to us.
Yeah.
That's what we're thinking
it
of.
could be a tongue twister. I actually was trying to practice it now. Autochthonous. It grows up. So it's in it.
Yes, in it.
Yeah. Okay, so of course you talked about perfection, but it's very rare to see something that is 100% perfect. I mean, there must have been some setbacks, some challenges. We saw there was a protest that held in the earlier days of the conference where people from Enugu South Urban constituency, they were calling for the release of the Labour Party candidate who was declared the winner by INEC, Bright Ngene. And that protest happened sometime at the beginning of the conference. They wanted the NBA to come to their assistance. So that's one thing I know was a bit of, I was out of the plan. It was not seen coming by the attendees. So what was your appreciation of that protest? Did the matter come up at all? And, are there any other setbacks that you can just shed light on?
Well, the issue of Bright Ngene was actually taken up by the NBA. He was visited in the correctional facility, and I believe that NBA is taking the bold step. It's going to stand out tall and stand out for him. It's a matter that has gone on appeal. So I think the NBA is already on it to make sure that matter was heard, because the challenge is that the matter was appealed against, the judgment against Bright Ngene was appealed against, and it appears as if the appeal is not ongoing. So the NBA went there and visited Bright and then interfaced with him. And I believe that NBA has taken a bold step to interface with the judiciary in Enugu State to make sure that matter is prosecuted. For me, I think that, like when I say it was perfect, nothing is actually perfect, but then the major issue that bedeviled conferences didn't come up, the issue of security. was taken care of. The issue of transportation, we didn't have any complaints that people were saying that they had difficulty navigating from their hotel rooms to the conference venue. We didn't have that challenge. The governor made ample provisions for transportation, free transportation, and to an extent, entertainment and for the governor even there were arrangements for an abacha to be given to the conference. Then they were happy. Honestly,
how did you find the Mami Market?
It was beautiful.
Tell us about the Mami Market.
It was beautiful. We call it the Friendship Center. The Friendship Center is a place that lawyers go there and unwind. It's very well organized, capacious, and we have our best chefs in town. We are there, dishing out the best Enugu-based dishes.
So
you have the abacha, you have the okpa, you have the abubuara and soka. Everything was on ground.
What did you eat at the Mami Market?
I tried. I had the taste of the ayaraya and soka for the first time. Lovely. It was awesome too.
Ayaraya and soka.
It's one of the delicacies from the soka part of Enugu State. So I really enjoyed myself.
Okay. Enugu State Governor Dr. Peter Ndubuisi emphasized the legal profession's role in stabilizing democracy and pledged his administration's support for justice and development initiatives. And he made also a salient point, pointing out about the continued incarceration of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So, can you walk us through the conversation, regarding the continued incarceration of the IPOB leader?
Well, we intend to see something positive happen on the 10th of October because Nnamdi Kanu made an application for a no-case submission. He filed an application before the court that after the prosecution made their case that there's no case against him, that they didn't prove any case against him. So hopefully by 10th of October, we'll get the ruling of the court. If the court rules that Nnamdi Kanu, that there was no case made against him, the charges will be struck off. If the court holds that there's a case against him, then Nnamdi Kanu will open his defense. So I think the case is already moving. The initial clogs we saw in the matter is no longer there. The case has moved on, and the prosecution has closed their case before Nnamdi Kanu brought an application for a no-case submission. So on the 10th of October, hopefully the court delivers its ruling. If the court rules that the prosecution didn't make any case against him, he goes scot-free. But if the court holds that the prosecution had made a case against him, then he will be called upon to open his defense. So we hope that on the 10th of October, something positive will happen from that angle.
Did the side attractions outweigh the actual content of the conference?
No. The side attractions is minimal compared to what we came to do. I think the NBA achieved a lot. What matters to me now is beyond the conference, the implications, the implementation of all the resolutions and the communique. That is where we will discover whether we have actually made a step in the right direction. The conference is, for me, is wonderful, it's perfect, but then implementation of the communique and then the implementation of all the resolutions is what will matter to me.
Could you give us a review of the topics and how those topics were handled in your view? Assess the key issues that came up and the ones that strongly resonated with you.
One of the topics that touched me really was the topic that said setting forth at dawn. Has to do with how the legal profession can survive in a changing economy. And the economy has changed, a lot of things has happened then. How lawyers can be prepped, to meet up with the obligations of the daily living in Nigeria. The economy is actually on a dancing scale, but then we have to have a legal profession that will cater for the needs of the lawyers. The next one is Beijing 30 years after. What have we done about the women folk among us? Our society is a society that is patriarchal in nature, that doesn't give rooms for women to operate. MB actually denounced that and said that women should be given opportunity to operate in leadership and governance. In fact, one of the resolutions is that NBA will have to emphatically implement the 30% affirmative action for women, even in NBA leadership. So it's something we're working on. So NBA leadership must make sure that women are given at least 30% affirmative action in NBA leadership. There are so many other things. Issue of AI, use of AI tools, and the ethical use of AI tools in the legal profession. There are also many other things like dirty money. Judges and lawyers are enablers of corruption in Nigeria. That is a fact. So these are matters we talked about. And Okonjo was actually very vociferous in that because, let me say this very clearly, lawyers and judges are enablers of corruption in Nigeria. I say it with a sense of pain in my heart.
How do they enable corruption in Nigeria?
Yeah, we also sometimes because of money we defend people we know are actually looters of our common patrimony. Judges we look at the law and then on the basis of technicalities give decisions to extricate people who we know are stealing our money. So Most times we see senior lawyers, accepting briefs when they know there are briefs that they shouldn't accept. They will look at the technicalities of the law and hinge on the technicalities of the law, and then those who stole our money walk free because of some technicalities of the law. So these are the things that lawyers are doing that is not actually auguring well with our legal system in Nigeria. So we should look at it and then tell ourselves we shouldn't accept those dirty monies. We shouldn't enable corruption in Nigeria. Some of our laws are enabling corruption. So there are judges, sometimes matters go to court and judges will accept bribes. Some lawyers, some judges take bribes to avert justice instead of, under pressure, judges should resign instead of taking bribes to
recuse themselves.
Yes, recuse themselves instead of taking bribes to give decisions that they should not give.
So what assertions you're making, by the way?
Right, we're assessing the impact of this conference. What do you consider are the foreseeable, shall we say, ripple effects of the conference? When are we going to start seeing the results of these topics that were brought up at the conference?
I think that what NBA should do is to sustain this discussion. We have to keep talking till we get it right. Because if we don't keep talking and doing advocacy on this, it will become nothing else than a jamboree of sorts. So we have done the conference. NBA should sustain it. We should interface with the judges, because if the lawyers are standing out strong, standing out tall, and standing out tall, and standing out, if the judges are not standing out, we are not going anywhere.
All right. Now, as we know, this is broadcast, and sometimes news overtakes events already pre-planned. Enugu State is agog following the accident that involved a truck and some residents. And of course, lots of questions are being asked. Dangote is denying ownership of that truck. And I'd like us to throw the question to a legal practitioner. But first, let's go on this quick break. Just 5 minutes more of your time, and then we'll come back. Stay tuned.